To Talking Real Estate here, Champions Real Estate Team of Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Ambassador Real Estate Company. My name is Mark T. Wehner II, team leader here at Champions Real Estate Team. Joining me, as always, is Russ Williams with Williams Mortgage. So if you haven't joined us before, welcome. If you're returning, awesome to have you back, and we're glad to, find this information valuable to you. But we try to jump on every week and give an update of what's going on in the real estate market, what we're seeing on the front lines. And if you have any questions at any time, feel free to give us a holler, reach out to us. Any social media platform that we're on in that regards. But yeah, let's jump straight into our graphics that we have. So we've had the most amount of new listings in 1 week since October of basically Halloween. So we have 409 new listings for your viewing pleasure. Unfortunately, we had 429 new contracts written in the last week. So majority of those houses can't one in, one out, and they're gone. So we're seeing, as that supply comes onto the market, those buyers are ready and they're out there basically as fast as that sign's going in the yard. I know the clients I'm working with, we're getting wind of houses coming up and we're basically, pre-writing our contracts almost and getting ready to go and kind of doing, preliminary research on what the neighborhood's doing. What do we feel it's going to go? Are there going to be appraisal gap coverages that are going to potentially be needed? And that's just what we're seeing in the marketplace. We had 502 new homeowners this last week, so congratulations to them. But I mean, that's kind of the same song, same dance of what we're seeing and going on in the marketplace. Give you a 30,000 foot view of the market here. So give me a second for this to pull up for you guys. So I'll kind of talk as it's going. But in the Omaha Lincoln MLS, so the entire MLS, we have 1,168 listings, which is basically about where we've been the last probably 4, 5, 6 weeks. Number of homes for sale in the Douglas and Sarpy County area, so narrowing it down to the Omaha Metro. 573 existing homes. We've gone up a little bit. 2 weeks ago we were like 187, so now we're up to 220 for existing homes, basically meaning not new construction. The new construction we're at 353, so that number's going down. So as we're seeing, some of those people are looking at new construction as an option because now, if you're kind of just starting the preliminaries, you may be able to get in, if it's a spec home. And a lot of builders are doing that because they don't know the volatility of the market. So they're trying to lock their prices in as best as they can rather than doing a true custom. So, depending on the builder, each circumstance is a little bit different. So that's why working with an agent is really going to help you out on the new construction side of it. But we're seeing lower numbers in new construction because, they're just not the existing marketplace for them. And if people are paying a premium for existing, you might as well pay a little bit more, maybe get a brand new house, but it just depends on the area that you want to be in. Obviously, new constructions are more on the outskirts of the community because that's where the land is. So you're not going to have the mature trees and all that kind of stuff that you would have in the existing, but you do get a new house, and all that good stuff. So months of inventory at 0.9, so just under a month's supply of inventory. The average sold price for all homes is at $298. Existing homes is at $270. And then new construction is at $455. So $455,000 is the average new construction price in the Omaha area, and then $280 or $270 is basically the average for the existing homes that are out there. So that's kind of what we're seeing in the marketplace. Like I said, it's very active. We're seeing a lot of volatility. Before Russ and I just went live or jumped on here, we were talking that there is a lot of volatility in mortgage rates. I know some investors I'm working with, they're getting quoted, it's above 6% for interest rates for, investment properties. Whereas last year at this time, we were at 4%, 5%, really low, interest rate. So as we're seeing that, so it just depends on what's going to make sense for you, whether you're buying your first home, second home, or even getting into the investment game and that side of it. So I guess, Russ, with that kind of being said, I guess, what are you kind of seeing from the feds and from the mortgage market side of it?
Well, we're continuing to see mortgage rates rise, and this wasn't unexpected. We all know what we're seeing when we go to get gas or buy groceries. Everything is going up. We do know that the Fed is planning to be very active about trying to get inflation under control. And Mark, we've talked for many, many weeks now that in the event that the Fed is successful, and based upon previous track record, in fact, the last 6 periods that are similar to this, we have seen a recession follow. And oddly enough, just yesterday, Deutsche Bank, the largest, one of the largest banks in Europe, has forecasted in 2023 we'll see a recession in the U.S. We're also seeing some of the former Fed chairmen and voting Fed members that are saying that they're expecting a hard landing, which is Fed speak for recession. Now, where I want to encourage folks that are listening is knowing what could happen makes it a little bit easier. Let me explain why. Right now, of course, rates, as Mark just mentioned, are a little on the ugly side. They're at the highest rates we've seen at least the last 5 years or more, and maybe likely to go a little bit higher. But based upon history, if we do in fact see a recession, it's quite likely we could see interest rates drop sometime between maybe the fourth quarter of this year to start to as much as a year and a half, maybe 2 years. The reason why that's important is at the same time, not only Zillow, but others have forecast that we're going to see home values continue to rise, which makes sense. Every week you see the market showing that we have very few homes available for sale. At the same time, somewhere a little over 90% of all builders are having construction delays because they can't get material to build homes. So that likely means that home values are going to rise, which meets the forecast requirements, that we're hearing from, Zillow and National Association of Realtors and Black Knight and others are forecasting significant rises in homes. The reason why I bring this up, and we went through it last week, Mark, is even though rates are a little on the ugly side compared to what they were 6 months, a year ago, it still makes sense to buy that real estate because you're getting it at today's price, and we can always redo that note down the road. For example, Mark, if rates rose by 5 to 6% over the next year and interest rates dropped a year from now by almost a full percent, you're going to be at roughly the same payment. But if you waited to buy until next year, you've paid 5 or 10% more for that home, which means you're borrowing 5 to 10% more. You owe more money. If in fact we do see rates drop, your lender will refinance you and get that payment back down, but you've got the house at today's price as opposed to what it's going to be down the road.
Yeah, I mean, I can't agree with you more. I mean, even like on that investment side. So, I mean, if investors are starting to get into the game, and you can gain on that appreciation, you could borrow against, you can pull that appreciation out where they talk about cash out refinance and move that and buy a second property, and you can refinance, get that interest rate lower, and you can get 2 properties, maybe potentially depending on the appreciation, and gain that down payment for next year to try to get in, get 2 houses. So rather than just waiting till next year, prices go up, your interest rate goes down a little bit, but your buying power to buy another property potentially, just depending on what, because as we see inflation and all that stuff, the cost of goods and materials, that money that you're trying to put aside for your real estate investment is also getting eaten away because you're probably going to potentially pay more for gas and groceries and all that stuff. So you're not able to set aside as much. I'm just thinking off the top, as I'm thinking about it here, buying now when the prices are a little bit lower, they don't seem low, but potentially next year when if we're going to see that kind of steady appreciation, just simple laws of supply and demand and just economics, that we said it before, you don't wait to buy real estate, you don't wait to buy real estate, you buy real estate and wait, and so it just depends on what you're doing, and maybe you adjust as an investor and you're looking to get a little bit less expensive of a house, so you can put more down, adjust that purchase, adjust that mortgage payment, so you can potentially cash flow on it. But that could be a whole nother segment or video. We can go into a whole bunch of on the real estate investment side. But the biggest thing is make sure you're working with an agent, especially one here at Champions Real Estate Team that basically is in the market, writing contracts, even though we might not be getting every single one of them accepted. And that's our goal for our clients, is to put them in the best position, get them a seat at the table. But if you're not knowing what's going on and what it's taking to get those winning offers, you're going to be struggling for a while until you finally get a good idea of what's going on in that marketplace. And that's just, making sure you're working with a good lender. The lender knows what's going on. The lender knows that you got to get those contracts in. How can we structure it? Does, covering an appraisal gap. I had an agent that we were going to write an offer, and he basically just kind of flat out said, he's like, Mark, unless you're going to do an unlimited appraisal gap and go up to X amount, potentially you're not going to get the house. So what that means when it says appraisal gap coverage is if our contract's written at, $100,000, the home only appraises at $80,000, there's a $20,000 gap in there. And right now, buyers are willing to bring that $20,000 potentially to the table at closing, in addition to their down payments and closing costs. So ultimately, one, you have to make sure you have the funds available. And as a listing agent, when you're selling your house, that's why it's important to use a real estate agent, because if you're trying to sell your house by your, for sale by owner, potentially knowing what to ask for and what to get to make sure that that home is going to close and there's no bumps in the road. Oh, hey, great, I got a $100,000 contract on my house. It only appraises for 80. Now what do you do as a seller? I've been in those situations and know exactly what we need to do to get to that point and to hopefully cover your bases so you don't get to that point, and making sure that buyer has the funds to close on your house. So it goes on both sides of the coin, and that's why having a trusted real estate advisor essentially in your corner and as an agent to help you maximize that sale price for your home as a seller, but then as a buyer, making sure how can we get you into that house, through that process of it. So ultimately we don't have a crystal ball. The market, we don't know what it's going to do next year, and so we can't say you can buy it here and it's going to appreciate here. But what we've seen the last couple of years, even those people have paid those appraisal gaps, sometimes within the next year or two, you're right there already at that price, so you didn't really lose anything in there. You kind of just paid ahead on your equity for all intents and purposes. But that's just some of those things that working with an agent in these times, as we're seeing 409 houses come on the market, 420 some contracts written, they're in, they're out. And if you want to sleep on it, you're not going to sleep in it. We kind of jokingly say that in our business. We want to sleep on it and think about it. Well, unfortunately, they're going to be sold before you even probably turn out the lights potentially. And I know it is. It's trying us as agents too. Because it's tough to work with to work with our clients that aren't getting those houses potentially. When you got 30 some offers, you lose it to a cash offer potentially. So it's just trying to find the ones that you can get out there. So, but yeah, it is one of those things you really got to work hard as an agent to find those houses for your clients. I guess on a side note, this Saturday at Walnut Grove Park, we are having our 7th annual Easter egg hunt. So my wife and I, we just got done stuffing over about, I think, 2,000 eggs. I think roughly, I didn't count every single one of them, but I got a whole bunch of bags of stuffed eggs and all that good stuff. So that'll be at 1 o'clock at Walnut Grove Park at 150th and Q Street. So we'll probably do the hunt probably about 1:15, let people get there. Hopefully the weather's nice. There's a great park out there. So after the Easter egg hunt, it's literally done in 5 minutes. So make sure you get there at that time frame, so we don't miss the Easter egg hunt. So it starts about 1:15. Then you got the whole park to do and stay and play afterwards. I think it's supposed to be nice, hopefully in the 60s or so. But I think that's all we need to do for today. But if you have any questions, feel free to reach out, 402-672-7670. If you're watching us on any of the other platforms, like, share, comment. Happy to help you, go through anything with you, get you on a good game plan. From a mortgage standpoint, give Russ a holler. He's an excellent resource to hopefully figure out what we can do to get you into a house. So, Russ, you have anything else you wanted to touch on or add?
No, real estate's still a great investment. Think of it this way. Even though the rates are up from a lending perspective, rent is 100% interest. Think about that. Yeah, right. So cool. Awesome. Well, appreciate you. And hopefully see some of you guys on Saturday at the Easter egg hunt. So Walnut Grove Park, 150th and Q, just kind of right by Millard South High School, general vicinity in that area. So, but take care and we will see you next week.